The ocean stretched endlessly under the silver light of the moon, calm and deceivingly peaceful. The yacht glided across it like a beast in slumber, its engines purring softly against the waves. Laughter and music echoed across the deck, as a group of wealthy tourists drank, danced, and mocked the world that existed beyond their floating palace. Among them was a woman who didn't belong, Maya Rivers, a marine biologist hired to guide them safely through protected waters. Quiet, focused, and graceful, she wasn't part of their chaos. But that night, the sea had other plans for her. Damian Cross, the arrogant son of a billionaire shipping magnate, leaned back against the railing, his glass of whiskey catching the moonlight. He liked to play games, cruel ones, and Maya, with her calm discipline and scientific talk about conservation, had annoyed him from the moment she stepped on board. When she dared to correct him about throwing garbage into the sea, he laughed and turned it into a show. "You really love this ocean, huh?" he taunted. "Then maybe you should join it." The laughter around her grew louder. Two of his friends, fueled by alcohol and arrogance, grabbed her arms. She shouted, twisting, but they only laughed harder. Damian raised his glass, his smirk sharp as a knife. "Feed the sharks," he said, and with that they threw her overboard. The shock of the cold water stole her breath. One moment she was surrounded by laughter and light. The next only silence and blackness. She fought to stay afloat, coughing, disoriented, watching the yacht sail away. Their voices faded, leaving her alone with the vast sea and the whisper of waves. Panic clawed at her chest. But years of training kicked in before fear could win. Because Maya Rivers was no ordinary marine biologist. Before she traded a uniform for a research coat, she had worn the Trident badge of the United States Navy SEALs, an elite combat diver trained to survive anywhere, anytime. She had left the military after losing her brother on a classified mission, promising never to return to violence. But in that moment, as the waves closed around her, the soldier in her awakened once again. Her mind sharpened. Assess, breathe, conserve, survive. She adjusted her breathing, scanning the horizon. No ships, no lights, just open sea. She knew the current in this region. She'd studied it for her research. If she swam northeast, the tide might carry her toward a small uncharted island used by fishermen years ago. It would take hours, maybe more. But she had no choice. Her limbs burned, her lungs screamed. But she swam with precision, not panicked flailing, but controlled strokes, cutting through the waves like a predator. The moon guided her. Every time she thought about stopping, she remembered Damian's smirk, the way they laughed as they threw her overboard. That image fueled her more than any training ever had. By dawn, she saw it, a shape rising from the horizon. Land. She crawled onto the sand, collapsing, her body trembling from exhaustion and cold. For a long while she lay there, staring at the endless blue that had tried to swallow her whole. Then slowly she stood. She wasn't done. She was alive, and that meant she would make them regret everything. She searched the island, finding remnants of an old fishing hut and supplies washed ashore. Ropes, metal scraps, even a half-broken spear gun. She moved methodically, repairing, scavenging, and building. Her SEAL instincts returned with each movement. Within hours, she had fashioned a raft, a set of signal flares, and weapons from sharpened driftwood and steel. When the sun dipped below the water again, she lit a small fire on the shore and stared out toward the horizon where she had last seen the yacht. Her eyes were calm, her breathing steady. The fear was gone. "You wanted to feed the sharks," she whispered. "Let's see how you like it." 2 days later, the ocean was calm again when the luxury yacht returned to the same area. The same group lounged on deck, laughing, drinking, and bragging about their wild adventure. Damian told the story like it was a joke. "You should have seen her face when she hit the water," he said. "Bet the sharks had a nice dinner." His friends laughed, though one of them seemed uneasy. "What if someone finds out?" he muttered. "The Coast Guard's been around lately." Damian shrugged. "We're in international waters. Nobody's going to find out anything." At that moment, one of the crewmen pointed toward the horizon. "Hey, what's that?" A small dinghy was drifting toward them, half submerged, carried by the current. A figure slumped inside. Blonde hair, pale skin, unmoving. Damian's laughter stopped. "No way." As the dinghy drifted closer, his smirk returned. "Unbelievable. Guess the sharks didn't finish their meal." He grabbed a long hook pole and leaned over the railing. Let's fix that. But before the pole could touch the water, the woman in the dinghy looked up. Her eyes opened, piercing and cold. In one fluid motion, she dove into the sea. The dinghy flipped and she vanished beneath the surface. The men froze. What the hell? Then came a deep thunk from beneath the yacht. The lights flickered. Another thunk. The engine sputtered. The deck rattled. She's under us! One of the men shouted. Suddenly, a flare exploded from the water, red and blinding. It arced through the air and landed on the deck, igniting a rope line near the fuel barrels. Panic erupted. Put it out! Damien yelled. But before anyone could move, Maya appeared, climbing over the railing, dripping with seawater, eyes like ice. Miss me? She said. The men backed away in shock. You're supposed to be dead. Maya's tone was calm, almost soft. You threw me to the sea. The sea gave me back. The first man lunged at her, but she moved like lightning, blocking, twisting, and throwing him down in one motion. The second charged with a wrench, but she ducked, swept his legs, and sent him crashing into a railing. She fought with the precision of someone trained to end fights before they began. Every move clean, efficient, final. Damien tried to grab a pistol from the emergency box, but she was faster. She kicked it from his hand, sending it skidding across the deck. Then she grabbed him by the collar, forcing him against the railing. You thought you ruled the sea, she said, voice low and deadly. But you never understood it. Behind them, the sound of sirens echoed across the waves. A Coast Guard vessel was approaching fast, drawn by her distress flare. Damien's face turned white. You called them? I called them the moment I saw land, she replied. You didn't just assault a scientist. You attacked a decorated Navy SEAL. Congratulations, Damien. You're about to make headlines. When the Coast Guard arrived, they found the yacht half smoking, the passengers restrained, and Maya standing calmly at the bow, arms crossed. The officers listened as she told them everything. The assault, the fall, the survival. They took the men away in cuffs, too shocked to speak. Damien tried to shout that it was a misunderstanding, but nobody cared. The commanding officer approached Maya, tipping his cap. Ma'am, it's a miracle you survived. You saved your own life. Maya gave a faint smile. No miracle, Captain. Just training. The ocean doesn't take what belongs to it. When the yacht was secured, she walked to the edge of the deck, staring out at the rolling water. The same waves that had once threatened to swallow her now seemed to bow at her presence. A shark's fin cut through the water in the distance, sleek, silent, unthreatening. She smiled. You and me both, she murmured. As the sun broke over the horizon, the Coast Guard offered her a ride back to the mainland. She declined. Instead, she climbed into a small patrol boat, took one last look at the arrested men, and said quietly, The sea has its rules. Tonight it reminded you who enforces them. The boat sped away, leaving the yacht and its shame behind. The ocean shimmered gold around her as gulls circled overhead. She closed her eyes, breathing in the salt air. The water no longer felt cold or cruel. It felt alive, like home. Because Maya Rivers wasn't just a survivor. She was a SEAL, and in her world, no one throws a warrior to the sea and gets away with it.